Annyeonghaseyo, welcome to week number 14 in South Korea. This video blog, as always, is brought to you by the Benjamin A. Gilman International Scholarship. So, like I said, week 14, exactly 3 weeks before finals. So, once again, as I've said, every single week for so many weeks now, it's gone by really, really fast. Today, for the first segment, just kind of the theme is you never really stop learning when you're in another country. The case in point this week for that is that, every weekend I've been taking the train to different places because it's very inexpensive, but this past couple weeks I definitely learned something that I hadn't realized before about the trains besides the subway. Like, the other two options are Nooriro, which is faster than the regular subway, but slower than the absolute fastest bullet train, and then KTX, which is the bullet train is what we would call it, which is extremely fast but more expensive. With Nooriro, I found out that if you want a seat for that and you have more than one person, it can be really difficult if you're trying to buy it even 4 or 5 hours before the train leaves, especially from Seoul Station, because I tried to do it yesterday and we ended up not being able to get seats for the Nooriro, so we had to go KTX and then transfer to Nooriro. So if you're here and you're planning to take Nooriro from Seoul Station or even from Shinchang, the best advice I could give you really is to try and buy your tickets in the morning for the evening, or maybe the day before if it's possible, because if you try to do it yourself on the machine a few hours before the train leaves, it doesn't seem like you're going to be able to get a couple of seats. And you don't want to end up sitting on the luggage rack like I did one time, which is not very comfortable. I do not recommend that route at all. However, on the KTX, if you do end up with the standing room tickets only, it's not the end of the world, because in between the cars there are actually a couple of extra seats specifically designed, it seems, for people who have the standing room only tickets, so that not everybody is sitting on the floor and blocking the way. You might have to get up a couple times for people to get on the train, but it's better than sitting on the floor or standing up the entire way, especially if you're going to go all the way from Seoul to Busan. But if you're going to do that, I would recommend trying to get an actual seat, because it would take about an hour and a half, and sitting in those seats for an hour and a half may not be the best idea, because again, it's not very comfortable. But on the other hand, would you rather sit or would you rather stand? Also, KTX does have restrooms on one of the cars, and luggage racks on multiple cars, and vending machines of all things on several cars from what I've seen. So if you're taking the longer trip to Busan and you need a drink, just go between the cars and you'll be able to get I don't know, maybe juice or water. Just kind of something interesting to note. And then with regards to the regular subway, which is the cheapest option, the way I most commonly travel on the train here, if you're at the end of the line, there's obviously a better chance of getting a seat. But if you get on it somewhere in Seoul, it's kind of depends on the time of day, because if you're at 5 or 6 p.m. or probably 7 or 8 a.m., it's going to be more people because they're going to or from work. And so there's more people, obviously, so more competition for seats. And if you're standing and then somebody gets up, you have to move very, very quickly if you want to get a seat, because everybody's going to just eye that and immediately try and get there. just like trying to get on the train sometimes. So don't be afraid to just kind of swoop in and take that seat if there's no ajumaro, ajushi, like older people who need it, or a pregnant woman, obviously. If somebody is injured, if there's nobody who needs it more than you, then just go and get it, because otherwise you'll be standing for a while. So that's it for part 1. Part 2, just talking about some dynamics between the school administration and students here that I've heard about, that you might want to know about if you're planning to come to Suncheonyeon. So stay tuned for that.